Hi, my name's Dax Murphy, and today I want to talk to you about how vulnerability is power. So how we see vulnerability is really weird. And when we see it in somebody else, we think it's a strength. But when we see it in ourselves, vulnerability is a sign of weakness, isn't it? Don't you think that's a bit odd? The truth about vulnerability is it gives you deeper connections. It allows you and the people around you to have power. It gives energy to you and the people around you, and it gives joy. It also has this magical effect of allowing those people around you to show their own vulnerability too, creating even deeper connections, even more power, even more job, even more love in our lives. The thing is, most leaders, we shudder at the idea of being vulnerable. But the ever strong, the ever right image of a leader, it's dead. We are all people, and followers know this. Pretending to be perfect makes you a weaker leader, not a stronger one. The upside about being able to be vulnerable, you will have deep and meaningful connections with your followers. Doesn't that sound good for a leader? Which means your followers, they're going to work for you. It means they're going to commit for you. It means they're going to give more for you. It means they're going to work harder for you. And they'll be more loyal than they would ever be to a salary, a company, or a brand. It allows you and your followers to work together at a peak performance because of that common connection and that aspiration that vulnerability provides. Not only that, showing vulnerability, it's actually human. Human connection is absolutely critical to us as a species, and without it, we cannot try new things. We cannot be creative, we cannot be innovative, we cannot move forward without trust and vulnerability and care. We all intrinsically know this to be true. It's just that we don't like to admit it to ourselves. Connection is a human need. We need it, you need it, your followers need it, and we all deserve it. What we rarely talk about in this society is that most of us, leaders and followers alike, secretly question if they're good enough. They'll question if they've been promoted enough. They'll question if they're intelligent enough, if they're healthy enough, if they're happy enough, if they're funny enough, if they're good looking enough, if they're liked enough. The list, it goes on and on and on. There is so much vulnerability in all of our lives. And the fact is that we all live in a vulnerable world. In our own way, we are all vulnerable. And as leaders, we need to stop thinking of our vulnerabilities as weaknesses, because actually our vulnerabilities give us so much. So I think my advice, will be, as a leader, we need to believe that we are worthy of connection. We need to have the courage to tell our stories. We need to have the courage to show and talk about our own imperfections. We have to show compassion, primarily to ourselves in the first place. We can't beat ourselves up when we've made a mistake. And we've got to show compassion to others. Don't beat your followers up when they make a mistake either. It's easy for me to talk about showing vulnerability, but I understand it's much, much harder to do this in real life. We don't want to show shame. We don't want to feel scared. We don't want to feel fear. And you know what? It is easier said than done. But that doesn't stop the facts being the facts. And the facts are, if you want to be a leader who makes a difference, then showing vulnerability has to be done. If you don't show vulnerability, then you risk missing out on real connections with your followers. And only with real connection will you achieve anything of significance. But if you do show up, your followers will follow you with an authentic, deep connection. And when you have that, then you can change cultures, you can change businesses, and you can change the game.